Hello everyone and welcome back to another one of my videos. So this video is going to be about my wedding dress, and I'm so excited because this is actually my first time looking at my dress since I got married. So it's really cool to actually relive the day and this dress together with you. So I actually made my wedding dress. As a lot of you guys know, I studied fashion design, so I made the pattern, I sewed everything, and I spent a lot of time on this dress. So it has a lot of meaning and really special memories attached to it. So I'm really excited to share with you the process. And unfortunately, I actually wasn't doing YouTube at the time of I got married, so I don't have a ton of video footage of me sewing it. So I'm going to kind of show you pictures and live through the memories with you through that and kind of explain how it got started. To start off, I did sketching. I sketched so much back in August of 2014. My wedding was in May, and I actually sketched this on a plane ride home, and as soon as I finished, I just knew this was my dress. It had everything I wanted. So I started with pattern making, and I did a muslin sample, and from there I went out and cut an actual satin material that I had purchased. For the embroidery though, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted, so I spent quite some time sourcing out fabrics just for the embroidery. And when I discovered this embroidery, I knew I wanted it to have blush and gold in it. I just knew this was perfect as soon as I saw it. So I cut out all the pieces, and I also got some beads. And what's also really special is some beads were actually purchased in New York City from my husband. He got them for me on a trip, and I just knew one day I'd have to put those in my wedding dress. So as you can see here, I have quite a lot of beads in here, and some of them are from my husband, which makes it really special. Before I could place and sew the beads down onto the dress, I needed to find a good placement for my embroidery. It was really important for me that the lines and everything blended really cohesively and were flattering on my silhouette. So I spent a good afternoon just playing around with different design ideas until I came up with one, and it just happened very organically. Now, this isn't me actually sewing my wedding dress at the time, but this is me pretending to sew it. This been a long time. I watched lots of episodes of Say Yes to the Dress, and I just sewed the embroidery and all the beadwork down. And this really brings back some really wonderful memories of days off work where I was just sewing away and just really enjoying the process. And this was a really fun time for me, and it was so fun seeing this dress come to life. As I was sewing the beadwork onto the bodice, I was also sourcing out tools and fabrics for my skirt. So I went with a Euro tool on the outside, and then just behind the Euro tool, I went with a silk tool. And the reason for that is silk tool is so beautiful and it's so soft, but it also can tear and get caught very easily. So the Euro tool protected it, but it still added some nice dimension and movement to my dress. Behind that, I wanted to use a sequin fabric, and I had a very specific idea of what I wanted, and because I was so specific, it was so challenging finding my dream fabric. I literally ordered swatches from New York, LA, Toronto, certain parts of Europe, and nothing was what I had imagined until my friend Yamini, as you can see here, found the perfect sequin fabric. It was on silk chiffon, and it was just so magical and just perfect. The weight was perfect. I couldn't believe it. So I was so thankful she found this for me. I really wanted that sparkle just to catch the light when I was walking out in natural light, inside the church lighting. It was just that touch of magic, and it really completed the dress for me, even though it wasn't a detail you really saw. Once I was done sewing the layers of tulle and sparkle onto the bodice of the dress, I started sewing clusters of beadwork, mixtures of pearl, Swarovski crystals, and seed beads, and a bunch of different types of beads on with little petals, and I thought that just tied it all together really beautifully and looked really lovely. Once that was done, I began work on my cap sleeve. So it was really important for me that I had adequate coverage since I was at a church wedding. So I did want to make sure my shoulders were covered, and I really wanted to make sure this also just worked really well with the design of the dress. So I went with tulle sleeves, and then I just did light amounts of embroidery going through the cap sleeves. I think they turned out really beautifully, and I had them going into a V at the back. I think now if I could change it, I probably would have just had them going straight through my back, but at the time I thought the V was really different and fun, so that's what I ended up doing. And These were really beautiful. I also did add some beadwork onto them as well. Again, you gotta have some touches of sparkle, right? So all of this was going really well, and I had my friend come over to take some photos for me, and then I saw the back of the dress and I freaked out because there was a small wrinkle right at my waist. Basically, there was too much fabric because I have more of an arc in my back, and it was just something I hadn't noticed because I'd been doing all my own fittings, and it was hard to see my back. So basically, I decided to ask one of my friends, who's a seamstress as well and an expert in wedding dresses and alterations, to help. And she was just a lifesaver. She really helped me. We did a fitting together, but basically I had to redo a lot of the beadwork on the dress to substitute. And I also ended up deciding to go with a ribbon to help also solve the issue. I had gotten most of the wrinkle out thanks to her help and kind of getting rid of the extra fabric, but you could still had a slight one, and it just drove me crazy. So adding this ribbon ended up being a beautiful mistake. Basically, it just added that touch of romance and sweetness to the dress, and it looked really pretty. And it actually really drew the eye right into my waist, which I really liked. But I did need to source ribbon. Again, I'm very particular, so I wanted the perfect match of the dress. I wanted it to stand out, but not completely. If I didn't go with the ribbon option, I probably would have just had to remake the whole bodice, knowing me. So it was a really good option, and it was about 2 weeks away from my wedding, so I was really happy at this point to have that solution. Ultimately, the dress fit perfectly, and I'm so thankful I have such amazing friends to help me. I was so stressed at that point, and she was just like an angel. So I was so happy at the end of it, and I just knew it was just the perfect fit, perfect everything. I thought it would be fun to try on my wedding dress for you guys 3 years later. Really excited to kind of put it on, but it turns out it's actually a little too loose, a little bit too big for me now, so I'm actually holding it at the back so it doesn't fall down. But it looks super pretty, and I just love it just as much as before. Now I'm going to take some time to show you the different accessories I wore, because some of them were also do-it-yourself DIY projects. So the first one I'm going to show you are my wedding shoes. So I wanted some ivory shoes that I could add my lace embroidery, that pink and gold, to the actual shoes, and I also added some beadwork onto them as well. So I found these wonderful shoes that I could embroider, and they were perfect because my theme was like pink and gold, and they actually had gold on the inside and sparkle gold on the bottom. So basically what I did was I just hand sewed my lace embroidery onto the shoes, and it looked perfect. They looked so pretty and very matchy-matchy. Everything was a very matchy-matchy in terms of my wedding dress. So I loved that my shoes matched perfectly with my dress. They were satin. My dress was satin in parts. So it was just awesome, and very lucked out on these shoes. I think they were originally like $130, $140, and I think I got them for $70. They were on sale. So that was just like a score. It was amazing. The next item I created was a tulle veil. It was beautiful, and I incorporated the petals and details from my dress onto the veil. So it had a cute little petal crown, which you can see here, and I added Swarovski crystals to it just for that touch of sparkle. Really nice with the flutters of petals on it. And then it also had a trail of petals falling down the veil, so it was really scattered. It looked really pretty. I don't actually have really good photos of that detail, but I'll kind of show you what I do have, and it looked beautiful in person. It looked lovely trailing down the back of the veil, and it just looked so lovely. The length of my veil was a chapel length, and it matched the train of my dress. And I should also mention my dress silhouette was a fit to flare, or fit and flare. It was really beautiful, and I found it really flattering on me. Now, I did get my hair done. I just knew I could trust my hairstylist. I actually didn't do a consultation. I just went all in with her, and she gave me exactly what I wanted. In terms of makeup, I actually ended up doing my own makeup, which turned out really well. Probably, if we were ever to do a vow renewal, I probably wouldn't, or I wouldn't recommend to others to do their own makeup, because you are a little bit more stressed on your wedding day. I managed fine, but I think it probably would have been one less thing to worry about. So I definitely advise, if you can, to do a makeup artist. Now, in terms of accessories, I wore these beautiful earrings. I actually got back. They were my something old back in high school. So they're really special. I wore them to prom. And of course, I also wore Pandora. So I wore my fairy garden bracelet and a bracelet that had a bunch of charms that represent loved ones, as well as it ended up being actually my something blue bracelet, which my husband gave to me on our wedding day. On my wedding day, I ended up making tea to go, and if I could have done this over, I probably would have taken the time just to really enjoy a cup of tea, really relax in the morning since the weddings can be stressful. So I definitely regret not doing that. This tea I'm actually showing is a matcha turmeric blend, and I like to add lavender and mint to it as well. It is very soothing and relaxing and tastes really delicious. A lot of my photos of my accessories and dress were taken in my mother's garden, which is such a special place to me, and I'm really happy my photographer got to capture those special images. Speaking of flowers, my aunt actually did my flowers, and she did the perfect job. They were just incredible and beautiful. I really wanted to have gold branches inside my bouquet, and she did just that, and it was a dream come true. It was just perfect. I wanted to get a special wedding perfume, so something that when I smell the scent, it kind of brings me back to that day. So I picked out Gucci Flora. I just love how it smells, and I only use it now on really special occasions, so our anniversary or special dates or birthdays, and it just takes me back to our wedding day and how special it was. Along with my dress, I also ended up making 2 engagement dresses. So one was inspired by Little Red Riding Hood, and it was also satin, and it had a cowl cape basically that attached to the straps of my dress. It was really pretty. And then I did a stretch lace dress, which was green. It was really pretty. It had a little slit at the center front of the dress. It looked really fun, really cool. And I also did a white robe, which you kind of see in some of my getting ready makeup pictures, which I'm not wearing today. I think if I could do it over, I'd wear something with more color in my robe. So that's why I'm wearing a colorful robe. And that's it for my wedding dress and accessories. I really hope you guys enjoyed seeing this video and hearing a little bit more about what kind of went into my wedding dress process. This was super fun for me to film and to really relive the moments that made it special. If you guys are getting married or are married or thinking about getting married or planning a wedding, let me know what kind of dress you would wear. Would you do color in your dress? Keep it classic? Something a little more out there? I'd love to hear. Anyway, have a great day, you guys. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video.